What's up, everyone? Hany Rambod here, 25-time Olympia winning coach, and welcome back to Rate Your Physique. I have none other than SULEK on deck. He just got done this weekend doing his first show. He did the Las Vegas Muscle Contest Legends show. So it's called the NPC Legends Classic. So shout out to Muscle Contest, Tamer Lagundi, and the crew out there in Las Vegas. It was February 15th. So no one expected him to get on stage except for those that really follow him and knew that he was doing cardio. And he did mention he didn't know whether or not he was going to be able to make it in the classic physique weight class because he was around 230, 231 pounds. His weight class for about 5'11 is 217. But from what I know, he did suck down, obviously. He made weight. And he got on stage, and this is his first show. And this is my first amateur of Rate Your Physique. So I'm going to go ahead and, again, try to really break down the physique, be able to give out the strong points and places where he can also improve. So first of all, let's start off with front double biceps. So good thing about Sam, he's got really good arms, nice peaks. I'm going to go ahead and really highlight the fact that especially his biceps, he's got great peak, good fullness, and he's got a really nice full set of arms. The place where I would like to see improvement in his arms, though, is a little bit more tricep. And guys, I am being very, very picky here. So I'm going to give you the assessment, and then I'm going to go ahead and break it down and give a rating at the very end. But again, on the tricep area, as good as it looks from the front, on his front relaxed pose that I'm not showing here, he could use a little bit more fullness. And what I would do is continue to keep building up that tricep and work on a reverse grip push down, single arm, could be double arm or single arm. I prefer the single to be able to really hit those fibers that are really needed to be able to get that tricep to really arch out on that front relaxed pose. But it'll even make the drop even more dramatic on the front double bicep, because as we're looking right here, that front double, if we can drop that tricep just a little bit more, it's going to create even more fullness. But again, guys, I am being super picky. And you got to remember, this is his first show, but I want to be able to give a critique where he could take this, and any of you guys that are coaches or any of the athletes out there, on how I break down a physique. So great front double bicep, nice V-taper. I think his V-taper is really good. I like the way that he's doing his vacuum. He doesn't genetically have the smallest waist, but I do feel like his great lats here, and that's going to just keep improving. Guys, this is his first show. So that's what this, you got to be he's got to be really proud of himself because he did a great job. Was able to really hit that pose. And the other spot is that his overall leg development is actually quite good. What he just needs to do is get a bit more separation. So again, this is just a little more separation in here. What I am guessing happened is that he tried to drop that weight. He dropped over 10, 12, 14 pounds in the last week, because I remember hearing 231 in the beginning of the week, and then he had to come down to 217 to weigh in. And what happened is you flatten out. And if he had to go on stage heavier, I think he would have definitely looked even better. But he's looking to be able to really capture a pro card, it looks like, in classic physique. So that's something that he's going to hone in between now, and it sounds like he's doing the Arnold Classic where he can get a pro card, and he's going to be able to go for that. So what he's going to have to do is keep his weight a little bit closer to that 217 mark and just dial in more detail all through his legs and be able to really get a little bit more definition in there to be able to match the definition of his upper body, because his conditioning was really, really good. So again, another great point, good calves, matching up those arms. Did a great job on that. And some people were critiquing his posing. Again, I'm not going to critique his posing too much, but from what I did see, I didn't think it was bad at all. I think that especially, guys, got to remember, it's his first show. You've got nerves. You have a lot of different things going on in your head. You're trying to be able to hit your poses right. And it's just those butterflies, right? So you got to get out the the first time jitters. And I'm sure that's what he went through. So even between the prejudging and the finals, I know that he had mentioned in one of the interviews that he really felt more comfortable. So again, that's just because he got that initial just anxiety and that stage, a little bit of that nervousness out. And it's great seeing somebody who is quote unquote an influencer getting on stage, because now he's able to actually do all of those things, all of that buildup of hard work in the gym, and be able to show it up on stage. And I think he did an absolute great job. So again, on the front, really good X frame, has to continue to keep working on the legs. And remember, one of the things that I do want to mention is he's going to have a higher weight class once he's able to turn pro, but you got to get there. That's the hard part about it, is that his physique is going to look better, heavier, but he can't quite get heavier until you turn pro. And then you can fill out your physique because the weight class jumps up, and then he can fill that frame up even further. But I thought he did a fantastic job. Front double bicep looks really good. Just like to see a little more detail in the legs. But again, probably had a lot to do with the legs just still flat from having to make that weight. Had to lose over 10 pounds. And once he's able to kind of dial that in between now and the Arnold Classic, you're going to see even more detail between now and then on that front double bicep, as well as the front quads. All right, guys, before we jump into the next pose and bodybuilding breakdown, I do want to remind you that if you're looking for any of my workouts, they've been all updated on my FST7 app. So you can go to hanyrambod.com, and for just $1, you can go ahead and get an entire month. That's right, an entire month for only $1, and have exclusive app content that I've reshot in my gym here in Irving, Texas. So if you're interested in that, go to hanyrambod.com and use the code HANYYT. That's right, HANYYT, to be able to give you $1 for the entire month on my app. So check it out. Now back to the next pose. Now we're going to go on to the second pose, the back double biceps. Really, really nice back double bicep. I really love his upper back here. Arm development to shoulder development looks really good. Again, if you can just build up a little bit more in regards to the arms, just a little bit. Again, guys, I'm being super nitpicky, but looks phenomenal for the first show. I'm going to keep saying this during the entire breakdown. Phenomenal for the first show. But overall, shoulders look great. I'm going to give that a huge green box right there. Biceps, forearms, everything looks really good. Just a little bit more on the triceps. And then what's going to happen is his back. We're going to talk a little bit about his back. I feel like he could use a little bit more in regards to a little bit more V-taper, but that can't come in until he ends up being pro. He's got a lot of room to grow when he turns pro, because he's going to have a higher weight class, or eventually if he decides to go open. But right now, as he's in classic, he has a weight cap and he barely made it. He really sucked down at the very end, and he proved that he can suffer. He was doing the cardio, he was doing the diet, he was really on top of it, and he was able to suffer his way down to lose that 10, almost 15 pounds at the very end to be able to really make weight. And I think his back looks great. I think you got to remember, posing wise, he could use a little bit of tweaking on his posing. Leaning back a bit would help just a bit, and bringing his back up and arching and getting his chest up on that back double bicep will give a little bit more depth in here and in here. So what's going to do is you're going to have those lower traps / rhomboids pop a little bit more, show a little more 3D effect. But again, everything looks phenomenal. Lower back, huge green point. That's one of those really nice standout body parts on him. His erectors were popping. It was Christmas in the middle of February, guys. He didn't think Valentine's Day. He was thinking Christmas. Definitely had the amazing Christmas tree when he saw the video. Bring his elbows back. You can see striations all through his lower back. That looked great. That was a conditioning thing. Now going to his lower body. You can see nice lines. Again, as an amateur, this looks really, really good. These are all green areas. Looks really, really good. An area, again, calves looked awesome. They match up with the biceps very, very well. So again, we're looking for that top to bottom symmetry, a place where he could improve on his backside, his glutes, right? So through his glutes, the glute area here, what we want to see is a little bit more striations through there. And again, he was very heavy and then he started coming down. That won't come in until he keeps his weight down. Then you'll be able to get deeper and deeper. He'll grow his glutes a little bit more as he starts to really focus on them a bit more. Now that he's seeing the pictures, he's going to go back, whether it's himself or with his team, whether he's got a couple of people that are he's going to bounce ideas off of at the very least. I know that he's got to have some people, whether it's his family members, I believe his brother or whoever, or maybe he has a coach. I do not know. But one of the things that he is going to do is look at these photos and he's going to say, how can I improve? He's going to have some short-term goals between now and the Arnold, and then he's going to have some long-term goals from now into next year. But short-term, he can get his glutes even tighter, but he's just got to be careful not to suck down too much because he doesn't want to lose his legs. But bringing that in is just going to be time. But again, I'm nitpicking here, guys. I am giving you my eye here where I'm going to say this is where I would continue to focus. Continue to keep building up the glutes a little bit, but you don't want the glutes to get too big because if the glutes get too big, it makes everything else look smaller. So you just need to get them a little bit bigger, a little tighter, but it's just going to take some time. And then he'll get rid of that small little fold in his lower glute area. And that's going to just get better and better as he goes for his pro card and eventually, turns pro. I feel like he's got a ton of potential. I think he looked absolutely phenomenal. Backside looked great. I think the only area where I would just be able to really focus on being able to really hit is the glutes. I would do single leg Bulgarian split squats. I would do some hip thrusts. I would really try to just do some extra work on those glutes to be able to get them to isolate and fire. So that way you can have that glute area just as detailed as his upper body. So again, I think that looks fantastic and he did an amazing job, especially for his first show. All right, guys, now moving on to the next pose, side chest. Side chest, Sam's got a great chest, lots of good fibers, really, really deep. Really like that look. Delts are looking bang on. Those look really good. Biceps look awesome. Doing a really good job being able to show his width. One thing that he needs to do right here, bro. You look great. Smile, bro. Smile. That's it. Smile. You're having a great time. But again, probably still a bit nervous, but he looks great and he's showing off a great, great physique. I really like the detail in his core right there. That looks awesome. Going down to his lower body, you can see here he's just a little bit flat. So guys, if he just had a little bit more time to fill up or didn't have to drop as much, you would see even more detail all through his quads right there. So I'm going to clean that up a little bit so you see it. If you see those little striations that go from here to here, that depth is going to get even deeper. All he's got to do is be able to be a little bit closer in weight so that he has time to literally fill up the lower body. Because again, your legs are your biggest body part. So it's going to take the longest to fill out. And then what he's going to do is he's going to be able to have it even more detailed. Another spot where I feel like he looked really good is the side of those calves. A lot of really good detail in there. That looked awesome. Places where I could see the improvement, similar to what we talked about on his backside. We're going to go ahead and go over to the glute area. Again, it's not a glute show, but when you turn around and try to turn pro, those little details is what matters. So as he ends up getting really etched through here, he's going to be able to really have that standout body part to flow upper body detail with that lower body detail. And as I said, when he fills up those legs, and that's just, again, that's just a preparation, the last couple of days thing, making sure to keep your weight closer to where you want to weigh in so you can be able to not need as much to fill out. I believe he mentioned that he was doing like about 900 grams of carbs. Again, all those carbs don't kick in right away. So even if you had time from the day before, you're not going to get all of those to turn into glycogen right away and be able to hit your body. So if you can be a little bit closer in weight, to the weight class that you have to be able to weigh in for, you're going to be able to see even more detail because you won't be as flat because your body has been closer to that weight cap that you're trying to target. The more you have to stretch to be able to get to that weight cap, the flatter you're going to look and the harder it is to fill up. So again, these are all things that he's going to be able to dial in the next couple of weeks on his journey to try to get his pro card. Hamstrings could have a little bit more drop. We talked about that area in there, right in there. Again, straight leg deadlift, lying leg curls, doing seated leg curls. Those are all going to really, really help. But again, I'm being nitpicky. So just remember, phenomenal, phenomenal job. And that is Arnold-esque. Upper back looks great from here to here. All of this is all looking amazing detail. Lots of good muscle, really good traps, really good shoulders. Arms look good. Again, could use just a little more through here in that tricep just to help fill it up. Bicep looks great, but he was holding his pose quite well. You can see the upper back development. I think the place where we want to be able to see a bit more detail, again, right through here. And this is, I'm doing it in green and red because he has the glute. He just has to squeeze it. So he's going to have to hold that pose, and he's just got to get a little bit bigger and a little more detailed. But the side quad looks fantastic through there. Hamstring, as that fills in a little bit more, that's going to be even more impressive to show off the overall width of his lower body to go along with all of this width that we broke down all the way through here. So we want to be able to kind of match all of that up. But again, guys, he did a fantastic job. So again, I don't usually do any of the, I haven't till now done an amateur rate your physique. So I feel like I got to use a different system for the overall, instead of Olympia Sandals, I think we should just call this the amateur cups. So we're going to use amateur cups on this one. And I'm going to go ahead and give this a 9.5. Again, 9.5, which is phenomenal. And the only reason why I didn't give it a 10 is because I felt like if his weight was a little lower and he had a little more detail in his quads, and his glutes were just a little bit tighter, he would be a 10. So again, guys, I am super nitpicky. Where would you rate his physique on a scale from 1 to 10 on the amateur scale? Again, there's a reason why we didn't do Sandals here. He's not a pro, but on an amateur scale, I think he hit it. It's still a solid A. And honestly, I feel he knocked it out of the park. 9.5 out of 10, just right there. And let's see what happens. I think he's going to be able to get really close to getting that 10 in 2 weeks and possibly a pro card. But let me know what you guys think of Sam and how he did this last weekend. Again, guys, do not forget to like, subscribe, turn on your bell notifications, and let me know who you want to see next on Rate Your Physique. Hany Rambod, 25-time Olympia winning coach, and I'm out.